The flower's dying. It needs water. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea
A crisis?
Our supply of antiseptic...
What type of hospital are you?
You have been away too long, Doctor.
I may have a solution.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly. Now, where's the...
The storeroom. Fetch.
Perhaps I should look there first.
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of...
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad is...
It really depends. Dr. Swans...
Please, could you point me in the direction?
It's the large boarded-up building behind...
Why then do you always...
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit.
At Pembroke Hospital.
That's all for now, Nurse.
Yes, Doctor?
That's all for...
Get them weapons ready! We found one! Watch it! It's a killer!
I cannot enter. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody... Balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. These scowls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
Oh, zii, dimmi come mi senti. Perfetto. Allora abbasso il volume da qua. Lo so, c'ho l'audio della TV alto, ora abbasso un po'. Ok, Lozzi, vedi che ti ho mandato un messaggio comunque.
I'd better look into this.
succede se appropri qua. Vediamo com'è. Potrei anche attaccarlo, però vabbè, lasciamolo stare. Guarda, sono io, Tony, sono io questo. Ah, quanto è grande sto obitorio. Oh, un boss? Oh merda. Che figata di boss fight comunque. Aia. Affanculo, fottiti. Che bello il violino vittoriano, anche se non è Londra vittoriana questo, però è bellissimo. Oh merda. Ah, fanculo. Mi sa che mi ammazza, eh. Aia. Aia. No! Sto cercando di non prosciugare nessuno, per sicurezza. Voglio provare a fare la prima run tutta così. Però mi sa che posso prendere il finale buono, anche se do i morsi a sti bastardi che sono da queste parti. Quindi io adesso... Oh merda, devo per forza battere questo, che palle. Quindi mi sa che si può. Succhiare il sangue da sti stronzi. Mi sa che si può, in questo stato già. Bene, allora proverò a farlo. Contro sto stronzo. Ma da dove ti presenti? Stamina, stamina, stamina. fregato l'artiglio, mi ha fregato. Vabbè, comunque c'è da dire che mi devo abituare per bene ancora, perché l'ho iniziato solo ieri, quindi e ho giocato pochissimo. Mi devo abituare. Eccola. Mo gli uso l'artiglio. No! Lock del cazzo. Ok. Ah, fanculo, va. Proprio quando mi stavo curando. Ah, si cura pure lui? Vabbè, se lo stordisco e mi faccio così, dovrei poter curarmi di nuovo. Per accelerare. Cioè ha avuto meno difficoltà la prima volta che l'ho affrontato. E poi non ho capito se sono due boss o... Fanculo, no! Sì, andiamo sulle scale adesso, che? I combattenti di Star Wars. La stamina. La stamina maledetta. M'ha ammazzato, dai, non ce la faccio, non ce la farò mai. Bugia. Sì, ho staccato le cuffie, lo zii, perché sono venuti a rompermi le palle, quindi ho dovuto staccare le cuffie. Vabbè dai, ho capito più o meno come funziona. Mi devo abituare ancora, mi devo abituare. Oltre al fatto che da buono è più difficile diventare forte, potenziarsi. Chi sta venendo? È pure forte questo. No dai, non volevo affrontarne due. Dovevo camminare piano, ho sbagliato. Vabbè, faccio un po' di training, va. Ok. Boh, aspetta però, forse posso depredare un po' prima. Ok, mo seriamente, va? Ah, fanculo.
These scars can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting. Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Non si può andare di là. Va bene, vediamo che c'è qua. Un Kaiser. Vabbè, esploriamo sto posto, va. Esploriamo sto posto. Che magari c'è pure qualcosa di buono. Anche se mi sa che l'ho visionato tutto. Forse l'ho esplorato tutto. Scherzavo. Non posso scappare, li devo affrontare per forza. Andiamo su allora. No, sono già venuto. Era quella l'uscita. Sì. Vabbè, uccidiamoli così si diventa più forti. Va. Tanto l'esperienza me la danno se li ammazzo. Ma dai. Lock on rovina tutto sempre. Ma quanti sono? Sono 4. Oh mio Dio. La stamina. Mia cara vecchia nemica. Ah. Prendilo. Oh, prendilo. Ok.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Vabbè. Magari mi hanno dato qualcosa, vediamo. Cose che mi potranno servire per i farmaci. E vediamo cosa c'è qua sopra. Ecco, un orologio del cazzo. Ho fatto tutto sto casino per un orologio. Qua si esce.
Yes, Doctor?
No, mi dice niente questo. Chi è questo?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an...
Thank you.
I am Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me something?
I'm a great admirer of your work.
What made you choose?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have...
I'll give you some advice, but understand.
Of course, sir.
What made?
I'm not ashamed.
I'll
Aspetta,
give you
però
some.
mi sa che c'era un'altra opzione.
I based my technique.
I'd rather not talk about it.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed.
You're not the first one to warn me.
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work.
Do you need help with anything?
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the...
Oh no, Dr. Reed.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may part. You seem quite...
I'm convinced that this epidemic isn't...
Questions remain about... True. Tell me more about your willingness to...
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a...
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove...
Fair question.
Tell me, Mr. Fiddick.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr.
But why would he hide such crucial
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at...
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior.
Do you think keeping his distance?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings.
Niente, non mi dice altro questo. Ok. Questa mi ha già parlato. Chi è quello?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you...
I don't want to talk.
I suppose that this pain is...
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your...
Mortimer.
How painful is...
So painful, I'd rather not talk.
I'll let you get... Good evening, Mr.
No, ho
Wilson.
sbagliato.
Okay.
I have to...
Ci tornerò dopo da questo.
Good evening, madam. Can I...
It's my son who needs me.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother...
What can you tell me?
Not much to say.
May I ask if...
I'm a teacher by profession.
Are you really that way?
Yes, thanks to my husband.
What do you think of your reception here?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect...
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital.
The ambulance driver was quite rude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son.
She charged you for...
Yes, and I paid without question.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware...
Goodbye, Mrs.
Ok. Penso sia meglio riposare. Bisogna salire di livello. Dunque. Un po'. Ora vediamo lo zio, ora vediamo. Il volume del sangue pure, perché se la riempio tutta non avrei grossi problemi. Mm. 5% cura. Mm. Morso violento. No, usiamo questo, va. Ok. Poi vorrei tanto migliorare la salute, perché si può. Perché non me la fa migliorare? Proviamo la prestanza fisica. Questa me la fa fare. Ah, perché devo ancora sbloccare, devo salire di livello. Ora ho letto. Perfetto. Sì, aumentiamo l'energia, perché mi sono rotto il cazzo. Poi. Ma sì. Basta, mi fermo qua. Siamo arrivati al 6. No, dai, facciamone un altro. Va. Il volume di sangue. Basta così. E siamo a 7. No, conferma.
I cannot enter.
Ok, suppongo che debba andare giù. Yup.
It's locked, all right.
Sì, forse dovrei vedermi un po' di indizi. Vabbè, questa è tutta gente che non ammazzerò mai. Perché la prima round da buono ho detto non devo uccidere gli innocenti. Anche se non sono innocenti.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now,
Duty calls?
many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea.
Good evening, Mr. Gosper.
I'm okay.
Tell me about
I
it.
don't want to talk.
How painful is your throat?
So painful, I'd rather.
How painful?
So painful.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and...
Not really.
I see. Then...
Yes, maybe.
Vabbè,
I have to
andiamoci.
go now, sir.
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Niente, non c'è nulla di nuovo che mi può dire. Si va avanti. Però qui c'è gente con la quale io non ho parlato. Vediamo questo ad esempio.
Good evening,
No, questo è
Doctor.
quello di
Good evening.
prima. Quello con gli occhiali, il trimone a vento. No, non è questo che mi serve, mi serve l'altro. Questo qua.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about you.
Does my arrival inconvenience?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swan.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this...
I know we've never met before, but I...
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I haven't wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity with...
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital.
Since your tenure...
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical...
Modern medical methods were created through audacity.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr...
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory.
Are you thinking about something...
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure. But my young...
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved...
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you.
It seems you have bad memory.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as science.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your...
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleague...
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm...
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we...
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about that.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family.
Tell me about the doctors who are armed.
Strickland and Ackroyd.
What do you mean? Goodbye for now.
You always knew the words to calm the children, eh? As for me,
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
What can you tell me about the epidemic, nurse?
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control.
It seemed to be for a while.
What can you tell me?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and...
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly.
For how long have you been...
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911. A few months.
And before you arrived?
If you must know, this was...
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has...
Not in an official capacity.
What about medical...
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and...
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
I'll see you later, Ned.
Hello again, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Hammond.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please,
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the soul, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accept. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few...
Then ask away. I'm at your...
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years we have been the only...
Where do we stand?
But to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis.
What do you expect?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
You mentioned something...
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St.
That explains your nightly...
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led it.
Yet you don't fear me.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory.
He was a scout, technically speaking.
Where do...
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate...
Where do...
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a skull?
A skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
We'll see each other.
Circumstances I need.
Flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
Sì, fai pure, zio Otto, tanto questa parte è tutta parlata. Ci aggiorniamo, certo. Grazie.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
So it seems our Dr. Swansea does indeed have a fascination for...
Dr. Swansea is a remarkable man, dedicated...
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions.
You must have countless questions.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait. I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Have any of the patients...
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it...
You make me blush. I am simply a...
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to...
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicion...
What are your expectations?
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital...
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. Is our little mystery closer to being...
I think of nothing.
My situation is delicate.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr...
I've already heard about you, Doctor...
That's quite a blunt...
You can call me Milton. I like to...
I'm not sure I understand...
Well, I'm no doctor.
You have a keen eye.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard of any...
There are a lot of secrets round here.
What kind of secret?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed.
Are you really smuggling...
And why not?
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor.
How is the...
You want to hear the situation is all right?
So what do you do exactly in...
I've been an ambulance driver since...
Since you're...
It's a complete disaster.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough.
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped...
You left and...
Go there yourself if you want.
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
There's no time for...
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you.
Did he really?
All members of staff have already read about you.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected...
You must know, blood tra...
How are things?
Not good, to say the least. We're...
An invisible...
Sorry, Doctor. These last few...
Do you think this hospital...
We are all volunteers here.
I'm not familiar with all the staff.
Brilliant professionals. Most of them.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should...
It would be inappropriate for me to...
Is there any...
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here.
Why should his age be...
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Have you heard rumors of anything...
No, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse.
What is...
Madam, I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am...
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here. You've picked the wrong fight.
Harriet Jones. Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other
Oh, better than any patient.
I heard there have been some despicable goings...
Blackmail? Wait. You...
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before...
You seem to know more about the goings-on.
That's it.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans...
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof...
This is your business, Doctor, not mine.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
every street corner.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood. Have you heard...
If you want...
Where were you stationed?
I really don't...
No offense.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought.
How close are you to Miss Hall?
To wait for our next nibble is...
Aren't you afraid?
She's quite harmless. I can...
So do you let her bite you?
And why not? She's only...
She could decide to bite...
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally...
In her madness, she...
Goodbye for now.
Hear disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins. What can you tell me about the strange man?
Let me guess. You spoke...
She could have been telling the truth.
That old witch will end up in hell soon.
No matter how you feel about her.
Who says I don't care for her?
What can you
Let me guess.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful.
But you're doing something important here. For all the patients who need your help.
We save lives, sure. Each time we send a cured patient home, it's a relief beyond words. But since the epidemic, I feel so powerless.
What can you tell me about...
Let me get...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you seen...
I've never...
Do you know if any of the hospital...
The people who...
Goodbye, nurse.
Not a good place for a stroll. Last warning! It ain't human! Kill it! Relax. Go!